It's going to take about 2 minutes. But
Okay.
what is that? I mean, it looks like
Well,
I mean,
it was
obviously it's
going,
more than one thing, but
it
well, it's
was
got like,
going to, yeah,
yeah.
going to be a game. And I don't know if she ever did it. It was in pre-production, I guess you'd call it. And she gave it to me, and I don't know really whatever happened but it's so pretty. I just hung it up, and I just think it's awesome. It's got all of the signs um, and even more. It was pretty great. Her idea was a really good one. So hopefully she continued it.
It looks like a New Earth game or multi-dimensional game, definitely, right?
Yeah, it was about maybe 8 years ago too. So
Wow.
who knows
Wow.
what it is now? Maybe this was just the beginning.
Hello, Tom.
How are you?
Good. I mean, as good as I can be. I mean, what are you doing these days? You show up.
That's,
That's about it, right?
that's
I mean,
it. Show up and hope for the best.
yeah. It's like it's like we don't have a choice of being present anymore. You pretty much have to do it by force or by flow.
Yeah, exactly.
So where are you guys at?
Tacoma, Washington.
Ah, Tacoma, Washington. We drove through there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago we moved here.
Wow. Good energy there?
I think so.
Yeah.
Very metaphysical, which I didn't know when we moved here. We moved here for many reasons, and none of them are what we're doing now, really.
Isn't
But
that how it works?
yeah, it is very metaphysical here. And I've met great people. I don't know if this is where we'll be for very much longer, but it's good for now.
Do you feel something coming, or do you have plans?
I feel like something's coming, and I feel drawn to north. A lot of my soul family is up north, so that would be where I'd like to go. We've thought about moving, and I don't know, maybe up north. But this is a nice house in a nice area, so we'll be here until it's not the right place, and then we'll go when Spirit says.
So you moved there thinking you were going to do one thing, and obviously expecting something and then you find that it's a very metaphysical, and you found yourself doing things that you didn't know you'd be doing.
That's how it usually goes. And Spirit said to me, that's how I like it. So evidently that's how I like it. I don't like to know till the last minute, because then I might worry, and I don't want to worry or get anxious. So I like to wait till it's right in front of me and then do it. And so I've had a lot of opportunities here.
How long have you guys been together?
We're coming up on our 5th anniversary. So what, 6.5 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 6.5 years. But we knew each other when we were in 1st grade. That's when we met. And then we were friends when we were about 15 for a little bit. And then we lost each other completely. And then I happened to see him on Facebook, and I Facebook friended him, and then we met, and we realized we lived on the same street, about 6 blocks apart. So there was no reason for us to know each other in between that time. That was when we were being married to other people and getting our act together. And when we saw one another again, we remembered how, our great friendship. And then it went on from there. I spent a lot of time going, oh, who is this guy?
Well, you can see the energy of you both just pops out, like, symmetry, like, just very synergetic.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we're looking at each other every year too.
Yeah, but I'm not going to have that beard.
You're looking like each other more and more. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I'm not going to have that beard.
Well, I felt very peaceful when I met him, and he can stand in his strength, and I can stand in his peace. And for some reason, that works really well for us.
Wow. That says a lot in very few words, but it comes through. That's part of what comes through. There's just like, I guess you would say, a calmness.
I do feel calm with him, and I feel very heard and loved and supported. And though we can disagree, and we've learned to agree to disagree, which feels weird, for him more than for me. And we seem to work it out. And even if I don't, agree with what he's doing, he takes my perspective in, and I want him to stand up. That's his lesson in this life. My lesson is to cool the F out in this life.
Another nugget in few words. And I think that there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. Just like with the energetics, we think that in a patriarchal, and obviously, there's, you don't have to look too far. I mean, the male is, head of religious institutions and governmental institutions and so on and so on and so on. But I love what you said about that's his thing in this life is to stand up for himself. The true part of let's say the true man or the true masculine, right? You don't often think that. You think that that's all they're doing, and to too much of an extent even. But yeah, that's pretty powerful. Thank you.
Well, when we got together too, I recognized, boy, he is a dude all the way. I mean, he's a big cusser, and he's a dude. But he's got this very sweet side. He'll say, well, would you like a piece of this? How about a napkin? What about a plate? Well, by that point, I've already eaten the thing. So he's got a lot of sweet feminine in him too, which really is beautiful to see. We've got a whole bunch of dogs, and he just treats them like little princes and queens and kings. And when I first met him, that's what I said to myself is, I wish somebody loved me like he loved those dogs. And sure enough, it happened.
I just thought you had money. So
I have no money.
Yeah, I miscalculated that.
Yeah, and that's okay. Who needs money now? We have love.
Yeah.
I was just listening to that song by the Bellamy Brothers, Let Your Love Flow. That is perfect and beautiful for right now. I'm getting so much out of just listening to music, and he's a musician. And I realized that my partners that I'd been to, with in the past, or just boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever, when they would play their own version of music, it would just bother my brain. I realized it was because they weren't very good. And he's really good. And I love hearing him play. And it's nice in the background.
What do you play? The guitar? You play the guitar? Or what do you play?
Primarily guitar, but I play other things as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Might have to get you to play something.
He has beautiful music. Their CD is out. Sam Cobra is the name of the band. And their new CD is coming out here pretty quick. It's beautiful.
Sam Cobra. I'm going to write that down.
Cobra. Like the little toy from the 60s. He's a antique toy guy. So he does a lot of different things. And somebody just said you have to have money. Money is fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. Gosh. These days, though, I just see people really changing and coming into more of what they really want to do right now, rather than going after the almighty filthy lucre. It seems to me people are saying, you know what, I don't want to do that job I did for years and years. I want to get into what I really want to do. Maybe it gives me a little bit of less money, but it gives me a lot of satisfaction. And so I'm going to go down that road. And I like that.
I think there is a lot of that going on, extending to everything. I will do this. I won't do this. Obviously there's a lot of back and forth going on right now with certain issues. And, but really, what's coming out of it is what you're saying about the money scenario or the vocation scenario. People are just basically doing what feels good to them. Right. I mean, it's kind of different now. People are getting off the 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 conveyor belt and doing some weird stuff. And, it really, I guess it all, comes out on the other side is it's a better frequency for energy. We're emitting better thoughts, better feelings, better feelings about ourselves. And then of course there's the fairy tale aspect coming into reality, like you two meeting, like, you met in first grade and you end up meeting each other later in life, which says a lot just in the story and the energy you carry.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, if you can get off the 9 to 5 treadmill, do it. I think for some people who were lucky enough to be able to still support themselves through the whole COVID thing without doing that, it's kind of given everybody a chance to look at what they were doing and going, yeah, that wasn't really it for me. You just you follow life and you go down this path and you think you're doing what you want to be doing or should be doing, and at some point you go like, this is not it at all. So
yeah.
Well, when you had more money, you just bought more guitars. And now he buys better guitars, fewer better guitars.
Quality versus quantity seems to be.
So I'm just going to say right now, if you hear a huge explosion out there, it might be a guitar at the door. No, I won't say.
A huge explosion. So is this one of those things where you agree to disagree?
It starts out when we get up in the morning, like, okay, we just agree to disagree for the entire day early on, and then that gets it out of the way.
Yeah, it never works though, because then we just start with each other. It's actually, we just joke. So we were talking about more, I love watching you and Morgan talk about your sacred sexuality. Ours came in the opposite way. So I'm really looking for that awesome meeting in the higher realms sexually. Hasn't happened exactly yet, but I think it's because we have 4 dogs at the same time.
Oh, that's
kind of oversharing going on.
I know.
Right,
well, this
here.
is, you come to Soul Speaks 5D to share. You come to show yourself.
I thought this was a recipe show.
No, it's not.
I love this guy. There's so much wisdom in the humor, though. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk, and we, analyze and overanalyze, and then, you just got to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a, to me, humility and humor are like the measuring sticks. If I can't laugh throughout the day, especially first and foremost at myself.
Oh, yeah.
And then if I'm not eating some humble pie every day, then, I got to look at myself and say, what are you missing here?
Well, we do. We joke all day long. We say terrible, awful things to each other all day. But it only means something to us.
But they're hilarious.
They are
hilarious. This is a recipe show, right? Obviously.
You had, so you have to say that.
You have to say it.
This is a recipe show. This is a recipe show for just not for food. It's for partnership.
And
I mean, people talk about oneness, and and they talk about twin flames and all these other things that take on these tainted connotations. But to me, I look at it and go, okay, well, how am I ever going to get to oneness if you can't get to it with the one right next to you, right? I mean, or with, whether it's romantic or not, with one person. And I think part of what you're saying is, you're accepting that person for the differences, as well as the things that seem to be in perfect alignment, if that's even can be a true statement.
I don't know. I heard the twin flame stuff for years and years, and I wondered about that. People have said we have the twin flame something. And I just like the idea of divine partnership or peaceful coexistence or something. It makes a lot more sense to me. All the details get all confused in me. But I've been doing this type of work for about 20 years. He didn't really know anything about that. And so when we first got together, I told him what I do. And I don't know. Did you believe me?
What did you tell him exactly? How did you explain that?
I'd love to, on our very first date, I'd love to kind of show him. And we just went out and sat in the car, and I might have channeled his mom, maybe, or I'm not sure what I did. And I think he let me do that so he could kiss me, I think. No, he didn't kiss me. long time. No, he didn't. I'm kidding. But he didn't believe in any of that. What did you think in the beginning?
Well, I came from a background where I didn't believe in any of it at all. No, I didn't believe in any kind of spirituality, certainly nothing metaphysical, and obviously nothing religious. So, you know, but I think that when we got together, I was certainly at a point where I needed something else. You know, I'd gone through a really rough year personally when Mary and I got together. So I was just kind of open to whatever at that point. I'd kind of thrown in the towel on everything. I'd thought about everything and was just like, okay, why not? Whatever. But it's, you know, it wasn't a full-on acceptance at that point. It's been slow for me. You know, I mean, you can't live your entire life believing one thing and then just, or at least I can't, and then just flip the switch and, you know, start believing another way. That doesn't work for me anyway. So, and I think one of the things was I'd never had any kind of experience, any kind of spiritual experience or any kind of paranormal experience or anything that I couldn't rationalize away. And then for whatever reason, after we got together, I started having these experiences. I had some here in this house. I'm like, okay, well, that's a thing. I don't know what that is, but I can't rationalize that away. I can't explain that away. So it's, you know, there's been a chipping away at my previous belief system, I guess you could say.
Mm.
He's had some good paranormal experiences too. Can you tell him about the orb?
Well, that was my first one, and I was here at home. I was home alone, except for I was taking a picture of something I was going to sell online, and I had an orb just appear right there. And I kind of heard about them, but I'd never actually seen one. And it's just, I'm like, where's that coming from? Is that a light, or is that the sun coming in? Like, no, it's just a thing. It was just a ball of light right there in front of me, floating around, obviously trying to interact with me because it's moving towards me in a way. And then it went away, and I went, well, that's odd. And then a few minutes later, it came back and behaving in the same manner. So that was the first experience I had where I was like, well, I have no explanation for that. So that's got to be something there. And then I've had other experiences here in the house and in other places since then. So I don't know if it corresponds to me being with Mary, or just that I reached a point where I wasn't putting up blockades against all that stuff, you know, personally. So I don't know, but I would say at this point I'm much more open than I used to be.
And he's come. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think the "I don't know" those are three powerful words. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because he could have said it's just a sunbeam or something, but he got a great picture. He actually.
Yeah, I actually managed to take a picture of it, and it doesn't. It's not the same. It looks flat in the photo. But the funny thing was, I was just shooting pictures just as fast as I could at it, and it only appeared in one. So it was almost like it was pulsing at a different rate than the shutter on the camera or something, and so it could only catch it at certain intervals. I don't know. That's my layman's explanation for what it was doing, but I actually have no idea. But I did manage to catch one photo of it. So
it makes you wonder what we're not seeing.
Oh,
Right.
We're not seeing so much. Can I tell you about what I saw the other day?
Yes.
It was jaw-dropping. I was traveling. We went to 5 or 6 states, my friend and I, and we were just traveling around. We thought we were right behind you guys in did you go to Shasta or Sedona? I can't remember.
Sedona?
We were 1 week behind you.
Oh.
And so we traveled to all these states, and we thought we were just going to go stand in the sacred sites and just have some awesome. Well, that wasn't what we were doing at all. We found out really early on, because my channeling changed, and everybody around us, their channeling changed and told us, no, you're on a sacred journey. You're there to meet people, and you're there to do this other thing, which is what I'm writing about my next book right now. But what I can tell you is, here we were in Eugene, Oregon, and it was dark, and we had met this really lovely lady, and she decided to come out and look for ships with us, because my friend Melanie Long takes beautiful pictures of ships, and they just follow her all around and all kinds of cool stuff. So I was standing in the middle of the big field with the other two women, and I kept seeing a rainbow out the left side of my eye. And I didn't know what it was. And I kept thinking, that's nothing. I don't know what it is. So finally I just said, Melanie, there's rainbow right there. Can you shoot over there? And I heard her go, whoa. So the shot she got was the hugest orb, probably 20 times bigger than me, right behind me. And my guide, the guide that was, I'm sorry, in the orb, he kept going, over here. No, okay, stop. And then it was like I was in a battery. And the other lady that we just met was just about, she couldn't believe it. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing happened. And then when you enlarge that picture, you can see my guide's face in it. So it was actually a ship. It wasn't an orb, it was a ship. But it's all rainbow. You can see his beautiful face in there. And I don't know what to tell you. It's a remarkable photo.
Wow.
It's remarkable.
So much we don't know. And I wonder, is it a ship? Is it a Merkaba? Is a Merkaba a ship? I mean, is it?
That's my.
What is it? Yeah.
I think that's my opinion. It's his little Merkaba. He's coming along, and he's like, "Well, there's Mary. Oh, but more important, there's Melanie." And then he just shows up, and then there he was. And that's how it all went. Every day we had incredible experiences, and in all the sacred sites that we went to, and met beautiful people, and did all of a sudden healing on people, and it was beautiful.
Wow. That's another thing too, is it's kind of some people have like unique, consistent encounters. Like I can think of like 3 or 4 people that take shots around them, and they have all this stuff going on. Like, you've got somebody does that 10, 15, 20, 100 times, and it's not light flares. It's just, what is it? Is it their energy? There. Is it?
No, always there.
Yeah.
So if we were taking photos in your area there, or our area here, or out in my yard, or anywhere, the everybody comes in, all the realms come in to say, hello, here we are. And Melanie is just really good at it. So she has reams of photos that show the elementals, the angels, everybody. Wow. And it's everywhere. They're everywhere.
I've seen a few like that. Robin Redford's one of them. I can't remember all the names, but God, you're making me want to go out back here where the little forest is and test it out.
You should, because you just wherever. So what my guides do lately is, I'll go out in my yard, because I go out and clear after I read people, and I'll see an arm go, I'll take the shot, and it'll be whatever, it'll be something. And the other day I took a shot, and it was a giant eye. It was the biggest eye ever. It was like somebody's looking in the terrarium, they're going, hey, but yeah, right up there. And yeah, you can do that. Go out there and you do that. And then send them to Melanie. You know her, she'll open it up. So she also takes photos of eyes, people's eyes, and all of your info is right there in your eyeball.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they say the what is it? The eyes are the mirror of the soul, something like that.
Yep. And then you can tell more about yourself. And then you throw all that away, because it's not important anymore, because you're just you, and you're marvelously.
That's another thing that's really like all these things happen, but we tend to attach to it. You know what I mean? Carry it with us. But yes. You're right. It happens. It's done, and you take it. You kind of take it with you, but you don't take it with you. You don't like identify with it. You just, I was telling Franco Di Nicola, we had a private conversation this past weekend, And I'm like, I went through this period of like 6 to 8 hours. I'm in my bed and I'm in and out, and I'm having lucid dreams. And I told him, because it was a little strange. I said I felt like a tail came out of my butt, basically. And I thought, wow, what is this? And I thought to myself, well, which is a crazy thing, is this a dragon tail or reptilian tail? And I mean, I'm not even thinking on a rational basis. And then as soon as it was over, which was just like, in a split second, I'm done with it. And,
Right.
I'm just done with it. It's just something that happened. I can't explain it. I don't know. As Thom said, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to, because we've been everything, haven't we? We're old, or we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I think we've been everything. My aspects all came in the other day. That was really weird. And then directly after that, I got really sick for a couple of weeks because I was releasing grief. And my higher self, actually, guides kept saying grief, 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 grief. They didn't get off that. They're still not off that. I'm still releasing grief, and probably my soul group's grief. And I was standing in the shower the other day, and I was talking to, my larger soul family, my larger whatever, everybody right around me. And I said, come on, you guys, step the F up. What are you doing? So then I thought to myself, you know what? I can send healing to them, and I can send healing to my future self. And then I started talking to my future self. And of course, my future self said, yeah, you made it. What? You made it. Just keep sending it to future. Yeah, he always tells me I go into my office to talk to my imaginary friends.
But how many people, especially as kids, right? Like,
well, yeah.
Kids, yeah. Have y'all ever had something happen where you're both seeing the same thing? Feeling the same thing?
Sometimes there'll be a feeling, but I don't think we ever see Mary is so much more open to things than I am. So it's, I have to get out of my own head sometimes to be able to experience, anything close to what she is able to. So.
Yeah, but he's a really big empath, and he didn't know that. He says that when I pull up in my car, I don't even have to come in. He already knows how I feel. So I think he's feeling me, and he knows that he can feel other people too. So he's coming along beautifully. I remember when we first got together, all of my psychic friends said, do not touch that man. He's totally fine just the way he is. You don't need to hail him. You don't need to mess with him. He's totally fine. And so every once in a while, like if he has a cold or something, then, I can help, but otherwise just be quiet.
Wow.
You're giving away the show, evidently, Todd. What does that mean?
I have no idea. That's our Soulogy comedian, Bruce. He's
awesome.
He's one of those. I think Thom has some of this too. Where it's that intelligent humor, that kind of intelligent borderline on almost like sarcasm, but it's not. It's just this kind of like just jolts you back to get over yourself. We're just us, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know I don't know anything. I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, then I've been telling you for
exactly
6.5 years.
I don't know anything. I'm just having fun. So if anybody thinks I know anything, you should probably not think I know anything, because I don't. I'm just the freaking observer, man.
Well, that bell, these things that happen that can be explained away, that happen in synchronicity, seem to be occurring more and more. So to me, that's like an emphasis on what you just said. But it's true. I mean, a big part of the human condition, I think, is trying to figure this shift out, right? Like it came to me the other day. I actually put it up just, in that conversation in my head. It's like I had the same kind of thing that you did, where you said, what the F, and I said, am I ever going to ascend or whatever we're doing? And I heard, or how do I do it? And then I heard, yeah, when you stop trying to figure it out, you will. So maybe it's just a present moment scenario and not some destination or something. I don't know. I'm going to adopt those words more intently that Thom shared. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a copyright on that, but go ahead. I'll let you do it.
Well, I think it's hard to think right now, you know, and I know that we shouldn't really be, because can't remember anything, hard to think. And so we might as well just be sitting around having fun, helping somebody or helping yourself, because you can't figure this stuff out. Whoever thought we'd be seeing the stuff? Well, we kind of knew, because we knew this was going to happen. We didn't know how it was going to happen, especially not in the metaphysical community where everybody's still like that right now, you know. It's kind of hard to see, hard to watch.
Yeah. You know, it's weird too, because you can feel something's changed. I mean, it's just too many people talking about it in different ways. But there's also this element of, because, you know, I go, okay, I'm not doing the pace, let's just say, of what it used to be. Like, I can't, you know, it's weird. It takes more energy to go from the bed to the coffee pot than it used to. But at the end of the day, you know, on an energetic basis, you know, when you do what you're talking about, like do things to help yourself, do things to help others, whatever it is, it's like you get a lot more done, but doing a lot less. It's just a weird paradoxical type of energy that seems to be materializing. But then again, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We've noticed that. Especially, you know, my guides will check in or whatever. I'll say, so is today the day I start doing this or whatever? And they'll say, sit. It's like, it's like a little pup. You got to sit and let this stuff come in, right? And not worry about that. You may not be getting done what you think you're going to get done during the day. Yeah. It does feel like Jason says so many more days in one day. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
And I remember when he said, you can hit the master line now. And I went in and laid down, hit the master line. And I said, that was the fastest thing I've ever felt. And now we're feeling that now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's weird too, because you're right. It's like many days in a day. I think what does he call them? Data points or whatever. Yeah. But, and then you get through the day or the week or like I'm looking at this going, it's already September 17th. What happened? Like, you know, it's snap, it's over. But while you're going through it, it's almost like slow motion. You know, it's weird. So it's both. Yeah. But then again, I don't know. I don't know.
It felt like August was like, just like that. I don't even remember much of August at all.
We have that conversation all the time about how, you know, the older you get, the faster time seems to just fly by. But even if you slow your own processes down, it makes no difference, you know, to your perception of how fast or how sped up time seems to be moving past you. And I always, you know, I kind of think maybe it moves slower when you're a kid because you don't have, you know, when you're 9 years old, a decade hasn't even happened to you, right?
Yeah.
But when you're 50, you've had a few of them. So I don't know. I don't understand how to explain it, and I wish I could figure it out, you know, to think about it differently. But it's one of those weird phenomenon that bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that innate curiosity is not just something that's unique to the human part of us, but it does kind of give you fits a little bit. I saw a meme the other day, and I had to stare at it for a while. I can't remember it verbatim, but it was exactly what you're talking about. In fact, they said 9 years old. They said, you remember when you're 9 years old and how slow the day moved? And I'm looking at it like, what did that just say? There was something in it that made sense to me, although it wasn't saying go back to that moment or, you know, but it just pretty much like Thom just said, you know, it's like it kind of gives you fits trying to understand it, but you know it's there, but you can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
You know what I would have to say though is there's a lot of those little memes that say, wouldn't you just love to go back to your childhood? And what was the greatest thing about your childhood? And what do you remember? Nothing, not a thing. And I wouldn't want to go back at all. This is it's the greatest year of my life. It is. The further I get away from that, the better. And I've forgiven everybody and I've moved on and all that, but that has been coming up a lot. And it's like, no, not everybody loves Christmas. Not everybody loves childhood.
Well, that's another thing too. And I know we've mentioned it on these shows. People have mentioned it. It's like, you know, hey, I put that to rest. I'm past that, yet it comes back. It comes back in a deeper way, or a way that you hadn't seen before, or even the I don't know, like, why is this back? You know, why am I looking at this again? Why did I remember about that Christmas or whatever the case was, right?
There's something in there. I know exactly what you mean. There's something in there. And remember right about my birthday, I said, higher self, show me where I'm being resistant. Because I'm an Aquarius, you know. Yeah. I can be, you know, bullheaded, resistant, all that. And I don't want to, yes.
Really?
You Gemini overthinker?
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to learn was I wanted to learn to, where it was. And so it's been a barrage of all kinds of coolness, you know, because I think through higher self, anything can happen, you know, and then go back in the inner child, work with, it's exciting. I think it's exciting. I get excited every day when I get up to think what am I going to look at today?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there seems like, you know, people talk about, I'm walking in two worlds, you know, if you look at like what's happening, like, I guess that we could all, or many, well, I don't know, but that many people can relate to. And it's like this expanding awareness on an individual basis. And at the same rate of speed, there's this expanding distortion. And that's just kind of weird. You know what I mean? It's not like one way. It's almost like two feeds or two streams are coming in at the same time, and you can't go, oh, I'm going to go on this one, or I'm going to go on that one. All right, you know, like some people say, I'm going to go on 5D or I'm going to go on 3D. It's like we're walking in both. So, you know, sometimes you feel extremely human and confused and, you know, just like, and you go into the bathroom, like you said, and you go, hey, what the F is happening here? And then other times you have an orb come in. And I guess at the end of it, in both cases, you just go, I don't know, which is okay. And maybe that's it.
That's why I'm so thankful I have other weirdos around me where I can say, you're not even going to believe what I just saw. And they'll say, well, what did I see? You know, I want to tell you about what I saw when I was driving to work today, or this revelation or whatever. And that's the only reason I still like Facebook, is because all the people on there are talking about weirdness. And, you know, sometimes I keep people on there that are Debbie Downers just so that I can stay real.
That's a good point. That's
why I keep my bad tattoo. I have a horrible tattoo. I keep it on there because I was not present when I got that. Could I get that deleted? Could I get that covered up? Yeah, but I was not present. I was not present when that person was doing what they did. These days, I would have seen that happen and I would have said, no.
And it's an embodying, grounding component, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of like a reminder to be present, I guess, right?
It's a reminder to always be present. And
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, these days, I want to think through my heart, not my brain.
Yeah.
So
there's a lag. I'm sorry, I'm not interrupting you. Keep going.
No, that was it. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about this gentleman that came out a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned it a couple of times, but I still sit with this. And it was really interesting because I had done a live, and I said, anybody wants to come in and just tell their story, you know, we're pretty much moved away from, you know, being any type of marketing platform, and just what's your story, right? And the guy was in Puerto Rico. His name's Taino, and he was just telling his story, just like two people having a conversation, and talked about the first part of this year, 3 months. He went into another dark night. He thought he was done, and here he goes again. But then, it was just the way he spoke, and he just said, you know, I think when it gets down to it, we're supposed to get out there and mix with each other. We're finding out what it is to be human. He said, and we don't know what that is. And I thought, wow, like really, like how do you find out if you don't go out and try to do it? You know what I mean? And it's all these things. It could be, and it's so many different things, and including what you said about, what you get out of Facebook, and one of the reasons that you still hang on to it. Like I get a lot of messages from people. I respect everybody's reality, and some of them are, they're, I'm this in a past life, or, this happened to me in my backyard, and, and all these stories and experiences, and I'm just going, it's all of that. It's all of that. And it's interesting. Some of them I can't relate to because I've never had anything happen, but I've had things happen, they probably couldn't relate to. And some of them are messages of, can you help? Or do you know someone that could help? This has happened, that's happened, concern for themselves, concern for maybe a loved one. And some of them are, a spaceship landed in my backyard and the door went down and asked me to go in. So it's like, it's everything. I think whatever this is, we're like the mutts in the good way, in the best way of the universe. Like it's just, everything's here. Everything.
Well, it is, and that was the hardest thing for me. Is I am human. I mean, I gotta figure out how to hack my biofield. And then, but don't you notice that a lot of people are saying something absolutely huge is going to happen? So do you believe the huge thing is going to happen, or do you believe everybody's just more feeling everybody because suddenly we all become empaths? What do you think about that?
I think that's a great question. And I remember a couple of years ago having a show with a friend of mine, and I was telling her, I've got to do this now. I came in, I can feel it. We got to create this network. We got to have our own way, and she said to me in perfect calmness, she said, maybe you're just feeling the alignment. Maybe and so to your point, with all this talk over the years about the big event, the solar flash was supposed to happen October 2019. I mean, that was a huge bandwagon. I look at the Trump Q thing is the same thing. No political affiliation here. I'm just saying as an energy, the bandwagon. There was Nibiru. There was, many different things, right? But I think that's a very good question. Are we just feeling it? What's happening? Maybe, you know what I mean? I mean, is that what it is? And because we have this concept that the universe is going to send a solar flash or blink its eye at everybody, and we're all going to wake up and go, oh, that was a dream. But maybe it's, again, we don't know. Maybe we're just feeling what's happening. And I think that's a really great point.
Well, I got excited about the light flash a long time ago. And then I had some. And then I know people who have had some. So I wonder if we're all going to have our own, or is there going to be a big one? Is it even valid, or did it go away like the other stuff that was supposed to be happening? Anything that has negativity or power over, or I don't like this group of people. I never aligned with that.
I agree.
So some of what you mentioned, I didn't align with at all.
Yeah, I agree, because even like with what's happening now, it's, it's not just, are you gonna, let me choose my words carefully. Are you going to, fall in line with what's presented? Because it's really just a different face of the same situation. Say it's a solar flash or a quarantine. Are you going to fall in line with that? Or are you going to be, let's say, anti that? Or is there a third choice? What's good for me? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, do I have to choose something here? My friend yesterday said, and sometimes when you don't choose, that's the choice you make. So I think these words that Thom spoke so profoundly, I don't know, is not a bad place to be. You know, I mean, I can remember many times in the first years with Morgan telling her, I'm confused. She'd say, that's good. That's really good to be confused. Like, that's, I don't know. And so what's wrong with I don't know? It's kind of like people, you know, you said like some of the things that you don't attach to. One of the things that I learned not to attach to myself, or I guess it was a revelation, is when I walk, you know, somebody'd say, how you doing? I'm okay. I'm good. And then I started to realize, wait a minute, I'm not okay. There's a lot of things I'm not okay about with myself. So it's okay not to be okay. And part of the reason is I'm not okay is because I don't know. And like Thom said, you know, it gives you fits sometimes. Like, I want to understand it. Well, to me, that's not being okay. But it's okay. So it's just this constant conundrum that's really just a space. And being in that conundrum is maybe that's the place we're supposed to be. Maybe that's presence. I don't know.
I think it is. And when we can all sit with each other when we don't agree and be okay about that, I think that's hopefully where we're going. Because we had to learn how to do that. We had to learn how to not agree.
That feels good, you saying that, because anyone that's been in these relationships that get all this, you know, I had somebody tell me the other day on a show, and she was very bravely putting her heart out there in confusion, up and, you know, as we've all can be. And she looked at me and she said, well, you found your bliss. And that's what she said. And I knew what she was referring to because we had actually met her in Sedona. And I just said, I let her go for a minute. And then when she stopped, I said, well, let me just explain something to you. I haven't found my bliss. Yeah, I have a lot of things that are say that I'm in alignment with and I feel good about, but it still continues. Not that chase, because to me, it's like, I don't feel like I'm chasing it anymore, but there's always more alignment to be had. I just don't know how to do it. It's like you learn as you go. You almost like you make it up as you go, kind of like a download. You know, you get a download and you think, did I just make that up? So you don't know. But I love what you said about sitting down with our differences without the projection. You know, just here's my experience. Does it give you a charge? Does it give me a charge? Do you give me a charge? And not as a judgment, but just as a reality. It's a feeling. You know, that makes me uncomfortable, or that makes me feel good. Why does someone always have to be blamed? And the one thing I can appreciate about what you're saying too is it takes a lot to be with someone, be it a romantic connection or not, business, whatever, and be able to, I guess, transcend what doesn't work. And what doesn't work is, you know, the frequencies of, I don't know what you want to call it, toxicity, codependency, or you know, that whole narcissist empath thing. You know, I mean, we are in a massive polarity realm. I think everybody can agree on that. And we know in our heart that everything's the same. So we may not understand it. I don't know, but black is white and white is black. The colors, the whatever, you know, whatever, the day and the night, whatever. So maybe I don't know is it. Maybe that's it.
It's just an ongoing process. It's just an ongoing process where you're constantly absorbing new information and new experiences, and your experiences are different from everybody else's. So everybody's kind of at their own pace and their own speed, figuring things out. And it's different from the canned, I don't want to say the canned reality, but the reality that we've, since we were little kids, you know, this is how things are, A, B, and C. Well, not really. That's just what you've figured out and what you're teaching everybody down the line. But that's just your perception. So
yeah. My son, when he was 16 years old, when I first woke up or whatever, and I was homeless, and I hooked up with him, and we were having a conversation, 16 years old, and he says to me, I don't know what the context was, but it was what you just said, basically that everyone has their own perception, and he said, so if you tell me that table's green, how do I know my green is your green? And again, I looked at it and I went, wait a minute. I know he just said something, but that's true. Like, how do I know? It's like being colorblind. Like, I don't know what being colorblind looks like. And how do I know there's not different hues of green or blue or whatever that you might see that I don't see? I mean, it's just, right. I don't know. Again, so
I was actually just thinking about that the other day. What you just said about the color perception.
Yeah,
I was like, huh? How do I know? We read that this is called yellow, but how do I know that I'm white as everybody else?
Exactly.
I don't know why I was thinking about that. Maybe because I knew I'd be talking to you or something. But
the way we understand the thing is just talking to each other, though. That's what we're missing, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, because that's what I was commending you on. I mean, that's inspiring.
We talk
let's
for
get
hours.
real. Let's get real. I mean,
we do.
What's at the center of this all? I mean, like, I always look at, okay, what do we really have in common because of what Tom's talking about? Well, I'm a human being. I have some type of innate connection that I know that I go on. I mean, I think many people can say that, not everybody, but I am a human being. I'm having this experience with you, and we have something called a heart, which that's not really a definition. That's a feeling, like just like an action or expression or a being. And so I think what you exude is like, even when at the top of the show, we wake up in the morning, Tom says, it starts out, we just agree to disagree for the day, and that takes care of everything. Well, what is that? Some people might say that's crazy, but other people might say, like me, that's love.
Well, there's a key to that, though. So if you agree to disagree, it also means you don't sit in your stew all day. You have a really great day anyway. And then you talk. So what I had to learn with him 6 years ago is I could go ahead and give my opinion, and he would listen to me for hours, and he'd give me his opinion, and he'd tell me to keep going so that he could really understand. And I would do the same for him. Never had that. Never. And I realized that priceless. Now I have it, all over the place, because I know how to see it. And I probably did way back then, but I couldn't get to it. But the key is to not have a bad day. Like if you wake up in the morning, you're not feeling well, can you just make your day go to poop? Yeah, you could, but why? Why can't you have a good day and still feel like crap? We're doing that right now. Nobody feels good. So we better all, like I just posted something earlier and somebody said, oh yes, this Schumann resonance, it's horrific. And I'm like, no, it's exciting. What the F, I mean, just like it's exciting. This is what we're here for. And so you have the chance to choose how you're going to have your day.
Yeah. And, I get a kick out of these little memes that come up. Big energies coming in, at 12 o'clock, or it just came in an hour ago, or the Schumann or the solar. And I appreciate them. Don't get me wrong. They certainly align with how I feel sometimes, but I wake up more and more every day going, okay, so I read it and then I go, okay, so what's different about this day than yesterday? Because every day it seems to be just getting bigger and bigger, like it's just part of this change. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know.
It is getting bigger, and I don't know gonna go.
Go ahead.
I don't know if it's gonna. I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to suddenly get any different. I mean, I know there's big and then slight rests, and then big and slight rests. But if we think we're going to go back to, 1990 energy where everything was one day, we're sadly mistaken.
Back to normal. Normal is the
Right.
abnormal, and I think we're all living proof of that, because this type of community, let's just say, used to be certifiably crazy, okay? And the crazy crowd is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think part of the craziness of it is what you're saying. Like, even if you take what you just said, I mean, you go back even 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, people that were documenting this, talking about it. Energy came in on the 1st. It lasted for 2 days, and you have about 2 or 3 weeks, and you integrate it. And then another one comes. But it's not like that anymore. It's just like you said about earlier. There's like many days in the day. So what does that mean? Well, you get many charges in a day, or many energy influxes in a day. It's the new norm is abnormal to where we came from. And I love for myself, I tell myself, wait a minute, I'm in my comfort zone. I know what I'm dealing with, but I'm being asked constantly to step into an unknown atmosphere that's uncomfortable to me because I don't know what it is. But yet there's this constant progression of going from this comfort zone to what you could technically call an uncomfortable, or at least at a minimum, an unknown. Yet it's not even a choice. It just happens, whether I resist it or whether I jump in the river and flow with it.
It's true, but there is a choice in there. So somebody just said, I always feel good, balanced, and neutral. Okay, so I always feel good, balanced, and neutral, and my body still feels like crap. But you can still do those two things at the same time. In my opinion, it's a choice. So when I feel not that way, I know I've got other people's stuff stuck to me, so I go clear that. And then I'm back to, how did she say it? Good, balanced, and whatever she said, I agreed with 100%.
Neutral.
Because neutrality is the observer space. You want to be in the observer space. So if you don't feel that way, the big energy's coming in, it's time to do what you need to do to clear everybody off of you. Thank you so much for your input. Clear everybody off, right? That's what I think.
Yeah. I was talking to Morgan last night, and my daughter, and this would have been 4 o'clock in the morning, my time, which is the same time zone my daughter's in. She's 19. And she sends me a note and says, I'm not feeling okay. Like, I'm feeling some stuff, right? And I just, read it, and I said, what do you think? And she said, well, it might not even be hers. And to me, I was like, yeah, I mean, here we go again. I mean, what is it? And what you're saying is, let's say that even if I don't know, if I just go through the conscious process of removing anything that is, making me feel off, that there's power in that. Our imagination is such a, but it's changing, but such a undervalued part of us. Like, I mean, Thom, you're a musician. I mean, creativity, where does it come from? I mean, can we use it for other things besides art? Can we use it for, figuring this shift out, or trying to deal with whatever we're feeling that's imbalanced?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always wonder where inspiration comes from, because I feel like it just, I don't know, my experience finding music to write, it's like it's already there, it's already exists somewhere, and I'm just plucking it out of wherever, somewhere in the universe. It's like, maybe I'm self-generating it, but not necessarily.
Have y'all had a lot of physical?
I think you're.
Go ahead.
I think it's all his musician guides that are up there plopping it in his head. What were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say about the physical body, but based on what you just said, I just remembered something. I remember being in the original studio in Houston, when it was a studio. Well, I guess this is a studio, but And, you know, you're doing those things like a lot of people where you just start doing stuff and you don't even know why you're doing it. You can say it's your guides, you know, whatever. But I started making music videos and, you know, writing the words and finding music and just whatever it was. I didn't know what it was going to be. But I remember once I got into it a bit, a couple of 2-3 nights sitting there by myself and calling in Leonard Cohen or Tupac or just Prince or, you know, just I don't know. It's the imagination. And then, it's, again, it's just nothing more than a thought going, okay, can you join me here? Can you help me do something? I don't know what I'm doing. And it's not like they said, oh, well, do this and write this and do that. It was just a request or whatever you want to call it. But now that may sound crazy to people. I enjoyed the experience and I enjoyed what I was able to produce, and had nothing to do with putting it out there or anything. It was just an experience. And what you said just kind of reminded me of it. Like, what's available to us? Everything or not. You know?
Yeah, I've felt that way many times. You know, writing music, it's like, well, there's no way I generated that because I've been sitting here stuck for ideas for 2 months, you know? Yeah. And now all of a sudden this fully formed thing just kind of, you know, shoots through my brain. Maybe, but
yeah. If somebody was telling me the other day, we were just talking about, I guess they were talking about like attachments or, you know, like you were talking earlier, Mary, about this happens and it happened and you move on. And how we can get attached, be it a, you know, aspect or a trauma or whatever. But they were talking about that. And it made a lot of sense to me that you can't, like this happened to me, like what Thom was saying. Several times I've gone back and gone, okay, I want to start writing stuff again, making some videos, doing something creative. And I sit there and I'm stuck. And I do it again, and I'm stuck. And I found myself trying to duplicate what I'd done before using you know what I mean? But it's like, it just didn't work. So it drove me to trying something that I hadn't tried, you know, and again, these things that come through, and maybe it's everything that comes through. Maybe it's even the way we go through our day is a technically a channel. Like, how many times do we say, why did I say that? Why did I do that? You know, it just happened.
I think you're right. I think you're right, because stuff comes out of people's mouths and they say, I don't know where that came from. That's what I think it is. I mean, what is a channel? A channel is just your brain's on receive. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. It's nothing mysterious.
Yeah, we're transmitters, no doubt, receiving and sending, and in some kind of bizarre way. I guess you can look at, you know, like what they call quantum physics, but I do think that there's some serious validity to Todd sees you in this moment, and I receive and send. So what am I sending, right? Is it biased? Is it prejudice? Is it, you know, what is it? Is it free? Is it, you know, I mean, I think there's some truth to what occurs from that point. But then again, I don't know. I hope, you know, we should do this again. And I'm going to give Thom a homework assignment. Let's write a song next time. You can perform it called I Don't Know. It'll probably go down with one of.
It'll just be one chord to the whole thing because I don't know where to go from there. So. Repeat it over and over for 11 and a half.
But is it? But yeah, but think about that. We had a lady on yesterday who had those. What is it called? The drum. You know, the round, the kind of oval spaceship.
Hand drum.
And I heard her. Yeah, and I heard it played like I never heard before. And I got a friend in Sedona. He's a musician, and he has a set of gongs. And so, like Thom was saying, it'll just be one chord. And I just immediately went to that and went, yeah, I mean, have you ever just seen somebody, they just hit the gong and you're just sitting there in this one sound and all that it offers, right? Like he's making a joke, but it's also, very true. Like, what would happen if you just played one chord?
Mm-hmm.
How much better would you hear that chord? Or even if it was a chant, maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we're creating new templates, and 5,000 years from now, after we get buried under the rubble, somebody comes across Thom's hard drive, and there's a mantra called "I don't know" that saves half the world and brings them into alignment. I mean, how do you know? I don't know.
We're doing I don't know t-shirts, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't know.
That'll be like the smiley face in the 70s, the yellow smiley face. It'll take off like wildfire.
Your picture and mine on the back just going.
Oh my
God. I'm just, I just see a picture of a shirt. One of our faces on one end or one side and one on the other. And it's like, which is the head and which is the ass? Like, chicken and the egg, right?
And the answer is both.
Well, I mean, it is. There is a chicken and the egg concept. I mean, a chicken and the egg part of the reality. It's even like, did I receive that or did I send that? Like Thom was talking about, I know this didn't come from me. Well, I might sit here and look at you and go, oh my God, it had to come from you. Like, I don't see anybody else doing it. If you look at people's unique artistic expressions, for instance, I mean, I don't know. This is great to be able to sit down. This is why I love doing this show is, you just show up, people just show up and you just have a conversation and there's no, it kind of for me, it's kind of a small representation of what's happening in this whole, I don't know frequency. There's less there. You said something earlier about, I think you used the term, at least I thought of the term, the way you were explaining it, the boxes. You're traveling down the road and you got, oh, I'm in this box because I came to the conclusion or had an epiphany. And then you get a little further down the road. Oh, I'm just in a bigger box now. And then a bigger box and a bigger box. You could call them belief systems, I guess. And then at some point, it just starts like the orb. It just starts pulsating so fast. There's no box, and you're going, I don't know. I'm just here, and I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just so simple. It's not. We can't even understand it. I don't know. But I enjoyed it, and I really enjoy your energy. I mean that, and that I really feel that. That's another thing is just saying what you got to say. Like you were saying, people sitting down and talking about it without having a charge. And if you have a charge, you have a charge. Let's engage it together without, blame and all that stuff. But it's wonderful to sit down with you. I wish you guys the best on whatever your next adventure is. And I know you don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure one day you'll be there and one day you'll be gone. Cause that's pretty much how this, I don't know stuff works too, doesn't it?
Exactly. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
I really, it's a good way. It's a good way to, this is the second of two shows we had scheduled today. Maybe we'll do something later, but if not, this is a great way for me to finish the rest of my I don't know day. So I wish you all the best. I love you. You take care.